Ugh. Hey, let's be real. After the age of 40, functional strength and mobility are everything. You're either building it or you're losing it. And I'm not talking about gym strength. I'm talking about everyday functional. Can you tie your shoes? Can you go up and down the stairs? Can you lift the things that you're supposed to? All of that is so critical as we get through the middle of our lives. Now, if any of that resonates with you, you're in exactly the right place. Hey, this is Chuck, and this channel is built on one idea, and that is that midlife is not about decline, it is a turning point. So if you're ready to build the resilience to prove that, then subscribe and let's get into it. All right, so I want to hit you with 3 core points about physical strength. Core point number 1, physical strength is non-negotiable. Now I want you to forget about gym strength for a few minutes. Focus and think about physical functional strength. Things like carrying groceries in, getting up off the couch, everyday things that your body has to do to maintain a quality of life. And I'm here to tell you that after age 40, physical strength and functional strength don't just happen naturally. There's something you have to be intentional about. The reality here is that this doesn't happen suddenly, this happens gradually. But the loss of physical and functional strength will equate to the loss of independence eventually. So the good news here is that you don't need a lot to work on your physical functional strength, and it doesn't take a ton of time. Small, consistent effort will outdo big, intense effort every single time at this point in our lives. When you're in your 40s, 50s, and 60s, the goal is not to look strong, it is to be strong enough to support the life that you're building. A study was published by National Geographic just in January of this year where researchers looked at grip strength, and they found that it is actually a better indicator for key things like chronic conditions, high blood pressure, premature death. They can find and determine more by a person's ability to squeeze than they can through BMI or through checking blood pressure. Now just ask anyone that's advanced in age who's lost their ability to grip, and they will tell you there's a direct correlation between that and their lack of independence. Now the cool thing is that grip is something that's easy to work on. You don't have to go to the gym to work on this. The kettlebells that I enjoy working out with are a great way to do it. Moving things that are heavy around your house. There are all kinds of ways to do this that are easy and simple. And again, it's about short, consistent effort over long, intense effort. The goal isn't to look strong. The goal is to be functionally strong enough to support the life that you're building. And the research tells us that grip strength is a key indicator as to whether or not you're winning or losing that battle. Now, core point number 2, stiffness is the enemy of youth. We know that people over the age of 40 typically tend to focus on strength and don't really focus on mobility. But stiffness is not just being uncomfortable, it actually is a warning sign from your body. Your range of motion and your flexibility are actually what make the strength that you have usable. Now, what happens when we get stiff, and I can attest to this, I've had 5 knee surgeries in my lifetime, so I have very stiff knees on most occasions, and my body finds ways to actually compensate for that. Compensation can lead to other issues, back pain, neck pain, all kinds of issues. So focusing just on strength and on mobility is not the right way to go. In fact, you can be strong, but you can still be broken down at the same time. And just like everything else, you don't need long, intense sessions to focus on mobility. In fact, we know that short, consistent effort every day is much better because that compounds over time. The biggest mistake that men and women over the age of 40 make in this area is not skipping the weights, it is skipping the stretch, because that flexibility and mobility is going to protect your range of motion. Harvard did a study where they looked at over 3,100 participants for 13 years, and they looked at 7 joints in the human body. And what they found was men who had lower stiffness scores actually had a much higher chance of dying during the course of that study. You can't think your way out of midlife adversity. You have to move your way out of it. And it's that connection between the mind and body that plays such an important point. You're not really focusing on how you look. You're focusing on the reward that is showing up for yourself in a time that matters. When everything in life feels so unstable, relationships, career, kids, everything else, that physical exercise is the anchor that makes everything feel somewhat stable. And the reward here is that effort that you put in is teaching yourself that you can show up in hard times. That weight that's in your hands is something you can control. Physical strength builds mental resilience. Again, I'm not preaching to you from the mountaintop. This is something I've struggled with my entire life. I am really focused right now on my journey and trying to get physical activity in every single day. Some days that's a great kettlebell workout. Some days that's going for a walk, trying to get my steps in. Whatever the case is, I try to be consistent rather than focus so much on the intensity of that exercise or physical movement. Physical exercise during the middle of our lives is not so much about how it makes you look, it's more about how it makes you feel and how it helps you handle things like anxiety, depression, adversity, and so on. You know I'm not big on the motivational fluff, and that's not what this is. This is neuroscience. The payoff here is increased longevity, you feel better, you're able to handle adversity better. There's a transfer really of discipline from the garage where you're lifting kettlebells to a co-parenting conversation or a difficult situation at work. All of those reps, whether it's just walking around the neighborhood or going to the gym and getting a workout in, is proof to yourself that you're able to do hard things and you can transfer that into the adversity that you face during the course of your life. So remember, grip strength, a vital indicator of longevity. Stiffness is not just being uncomfortable, it's a warning sign and it's reversible. And the connection between the mind and the body is real. Physical movement, physical exercise can help you in those other areas of adversity. So I have a challenge for you this week. I want you to find something in your house. Doesn't have to be a kettlebell, just find something that's heavy. And I want you to walk around with it. Go down the hall, go outside, walk around your living room. And I want you to really think and focus on your grip strength. What is it like? How does it feel? And then beyond that, I want you to think, how can I improve this? In simple ways. Remember, consistency beats intensity. Midlife is not about a decline. It is a turning point. But it only matters if you decide to turn. So turn. I'm really excited for next week's video. Be sure to subscribe so you get the alert when that comes out. Thanks so much for joining us today. And remember, resilience is not something that we're born with. It's something we have to work on every single day.